Hello everyone. Today I'm on the patio at ground level and I am going to go through a fall bulb haul. I have all of the bulbs that I've ordered. They just came in the last week. This doesn't mean I might not get some more, but as far as everything that I've ordered to plant this fall, it is here. Now I won't be planting right now. Usually I plant early November, weather dependent, but I think it'll still be about November just based on how warm October is looking. But you can plant your bulbs anytime before the ground freezes. Now I have bulbs from two different places. One is Dutch grown, which I order online from every year, and the other bulbs are mixes from Proven Winners that I have never tried before. I don't know if they're new this year or not, but I'm excited because some of them are really beautiful. I mean, everything's really beautiful, or else why would I have gotten it? But let's start with what I got from Dutch grown. I believe I have 225 bulbs total, which probably doesn't seem a lot if you have a giant yard, but is a good amount for people like me who only have containers or a very small rectangular patch of land. And there are 12 different varieties of those 225. So I will talk about what they are. I will put pictures here because the bulbs themselves aren't that pretty to look at. And then I'll show you where I'm planning to plant them. I'm not 100% sure on all of them, but I do have a good idea for some of them. So first off, from Dutch grown, I'm gonna go through the two that are not tulips because then everything else is tulips. First, I got 25 of the Allium Gladiator. I am planning to put this in the actual plot of land right beside me. I did try these, I think for 2 years now, in containers on my rooftop deck, and they rotted. However, this will be my first year planting bulbs in ground, and those tend to not rot as easily. So those are gonna go down here, all 25 of them in that small rectangular space. I also got 25 snowdrops, which are gonna go in the exact same place. I wish I'd gotten more. I might get more at the garden center and then add them to the parkway as well, because those bulbs are very, very tiny. One of the issues with the parkway is all of the roots because there are trees in it. So I can easily plant those small, tiny bulbs. So I might get some more of those to add to the front, but all of these are also gonna go back here. Now, as far as the tulips for this patio area, I don't know why, but I just really felt the urge to do a black and white color scheme. Now, there will be some overlapping between blooms depending on the weather, but for the most part, this is gonna be black and white. So I'm really, really excited. I just feel like so we have black accents here, but the majority of the background is the brick red color. I think the black and white is going to really pop in front of this wall. So I have, I think, 5 different varieties of black and white tulips. The first variety I got for the black and white bed that I'm gonna have here is the Tulip Zebra collection. So this, as the name suggests, is a mix of black tulips and white tulips. And the two tulips that are in this mix, the black one is Queen of the Night, which I feel like I tried last year. I got it from the garden center, and then the bulbs rotted, so I didn't actually get to see it, so I'm excited to have it in this mix. And then the white one is the Lily Flowering Tulip White Triumphator, and I'm really excited as that. So it says that these two will bloom in later summer, and they bloom at around the same time as each other. So tulips can also vary from more early blooming to later blooming, but these are mixed together to bloom at the exact same time. And then I have 2 varieties that are all white tulips. The first one is Angel's Wish, and this one I would say is more of like an elegant style tulip where the flower heads are closed very tightly. The Zebra collection, it's slightly more open, but I am excited to have flower heads that actually look a little bit different in terms of their form, so that it's not just a mass of all of the same black and white tulips, but there's going to be some interest also with what the flowers look like. These I also got 25 of, and I forgot if I mentioned it, but the Zebra collection comes with 25. So there's going to be one more of one of the colors, and I don't know which one. The other white variety I got is Tulip Daytona, and this one is probably my favorite of the white varieties that I got just because it's the most unique, but it has like frilly edges on all of the petals. It's a little bit more open. Again, with the ones that kind of look more unique like this, I have had less success, but this will be the first time they go in the ground. So I'm hoping to see all of the bulbs that I plant come springtime. Then I also got 2 varieties of all black tulips. And the first one is Double Peony Tulip Black Hero. This, as the name suggests, has a flower that resembles a peony, which is one of my favorite shaped flowers, but for my small garden, they just don't bloom enough for me to have. I do have 2, but I'm not going to add a bunch more, but I love that shape of flower. So I'm excited to see how these do. And these are also a bit more of a red toned black. The next one that I'm going to mention is a more cool toned black. So even though all of these will be black. There will be a bit of color variation. And then the last one that I have is Tulip Queen of Night, which is a more blue tone black and also the same one that's in the Zebra collection. The reason I got more of these was because I did not read what was in the Zebra collection. I just added it to my cart and purchased it, which is an issue I run with fairly often, where I don't read all of the details on the plants that I buy because I just get so excited. But I still think, even though I'm gonna have a little bit more of one of the 5 different varieties of black and white tulips, I still think it's going to look absolutely wonderful. So that will be 150 white and black tulips also in this bed right here to my left. I think of everything I got, that's going to be it. I was wondering, because I'll have the alliums, which bloom a little bit later, I'm wondering if I might add some purple tulips as well, if I feel like I need some more color. I feel like tulips, well, any types of bulbs, are one of those where you think, oh, 150 bulbs is going to fill this space so much, and then you plant them and you're like, didn't really fill it as much as I wanted. So I might be on the lookout for some more purple bulbs to mix in with the colors that I'll have going on here. But I'll have white, black, and purple. Then I got more tulip varieties that are in the shades of pink, my favorite color, orange, and purple, which is also the color scheme for my rooftop deck. Well, I try to make it my color scheme and then some other colors of plants get in there. But for these varieties I'm gonna go through next, I only got 10 each. So I'm either going to plant a larger pot with all 10, so we'll have 1 pot of each variety, or I'm gonna do 2 smaller pots with 5 in each, which I think I'm leaning towards that because I would rather have 2 that match instead of just 1 of every different color. But we'll kind of see once I get to the planting stage what pots I have available, what pots I have not broken over the season and can actually plant in. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm pretty sure all of these are going to end up in pots in the garage over winter. Obviously the ones in the ground will be staying here over winter. First up is the Tulip Copper Image, which is a really beautiful orangey coppery color. It also has the more peony shaped flower head. This might be one I also got before and killed because it looked very familiar to me. But I'm excited for these because when I was looking at photos of these bulbs, it looks like some of them might go a little bit more of like a lighter yellowy orange. Some might turn out a little bit more pinky orange. And they all look really, really stunning. So I cannot wait to see how these turn out. Next up is Tulip Flamingo Queen, which I think, if they all bloom as they should, is going to be my favorite variety. 1, because they're pink, and 2, because they have the ruffly petals in a cup-like shape. They have dark pink on them, a little bit of lighter pink, also some touches of white. So as soon as I saw these, I immediately had to get them. I think they are actually sold out now. I usually get my bulbs July because I know most of the varieties have not been sold out yet. So I was lucky to get some that are now currently sold out on their site. Next up is Tulip Gadoshnik Double. This is another peony type bloom, and these tulips have a mixture of colors on the petals. Again, there is pink, orange, and yellow that kind of all blend together. I would say when you're looking at it from a distance, it probably does appear mostly orange, but when you get up close, there is a lot of detail on each of the petals. Next up is Tulip Katinka, and even though pink is my favorite color, this is one that when I saw it on the site, I gasped just because it was so beautiful and I'd never really seen that specific color before. It's more like a smoky lilac color, not just pure lilac. This would be the color that if I was to add purple into the ground, I would add a lighter purple, more lilac lavender tones. But with this, I only have 10. So these are also going to go in pots. And then the last one that I have from Dutch Grown is Tulip Rebellious, which is a canary yellow and has fringes on the end. And the fringes on the end of the petals are a little bit lighter yellow. Now, I've tried daffodils in the past and I really love the color of them, but they were always the flower that 100% rotted. It seems like they were the most intolerant of the moist soil over the winter and the spring, whereas sometimes I would only kill like half of my tulips instead of all of them. So I decided that this year, even though I do have a small area of ground, that I was not going to buy any daffodils. So I didn't. That's everything that I got from Dutch Grown. Alliums, snowdrops, and then a bunch of tulips. However, with the 3 collections of bulbs that Proven Winner sent me, 2 of them are daffodils. The first blend that I got is the Golden Meadow blend, and this is 3 different varieties of daffodils. There's one that kind of looks more like a standard daffodil, and then there's one that has a little bit of white on it and one that has a little bit of orange on it. And it says that these are butterfly mixed daffodils. Because there are only 12, these will also probably be in pots, likely split up 6 in one pot, 6 in another. I'm gonna keep it in the garage. I'm gonna wait again until they're about 6 inches tall before I even move them outside. However, I could put the pots up on the garage deck where we have the pergola. The pergola does have to stay, well, the slats, they're like this, do have to stay open like this because they can't handle a heavy snow load, but there is still more protection under there than there would be just out in the open. So I might just put the daffodils in the pots, in the garage, and then once maybe they start to poke through, I'll put them underneath the pergola on the garage deck and see if they can survive up there. I do also have the 4 raised beds back there along the back of the border, which I think would be nice to add some tulips to. I would need to get more because I already know where I'm going to put the ones that I currently have. And I would think for that area, I would want all 1 or 2 colors in every single bed. I don't want it to be too busy. I wouldn't put black back there because it would blend in. I would definitely put white, but I might want something a bit more exciting. So that is to be determined if I do get tulips for those beds. The second mix is the Morning Sunrise blend. These actually have more white to them than the other blend. And then the centers here have the orange inside of them. So these are super cute. None of these, again, look like what I would consider the traditional daffodil. So I'm excited to try something that looks a little bit different. I might even mix these together. That would give me 24. Still not enough to fill up like my entire border of beds up on the garage, but maybe to fill out 4 different pots just by mixing these together. And the last blend that Proven Winner sent me is the double sorbet blend. These are the double mixed tulips. They have the peony-shaped flowers. So these are my favorite of the blends that they sent me. Now, even though there are 3 different varieties in here, I know this one looks a little bit more yellow, but it's the same as this. These don't seem as busy to me, even though there's 3, because it's a dark pink, a light pink, and an orange. So potentially, if I see more of this at Home Depot, I might need more than 12 per 1 bed, maybe, but I would get at least 3 more to fill out that back border. So I might be on the lookout for this because right now I would have maybe 10 to 12 pots of bulbs. So I could, instead of having more pots, put these in those back beds, but we'll see. So those are all of my bulbs so far. Like I said, some of them are out of stock. Some of them are still in stock on Dutch Grown. And if you do order early like I do, they don't send them till now. So like I said, I usually order my bulbs in July. Sometimes I've been a little over-eager and ordered them in May, but they won't ship out until it's time to start planting in your area. So you can do that so that you can get the ones that you want and not miss out on any flowers that you think are gonna be really, really pretty. So we're gonna see, like I said, as I plant these in probably about a month, I will take you along with me. My first time planting in the ground, I got a little bulb planter thing that I'm going to use for the first time. I'll probably do that bed separately, all of my pots separately, and then potentially, if I do fill up the back border, that one separately as well. But I can't wait to see how this does. I have high hopes, although I have high hopes every year, and I tend to kill them a lot. So I was actually going to give up on bulbs completely. The only place I've ever grown them before was the rooftop decks because that was all I had. But since I have the garage deck and the patio is now done, I feel like these areas will give me a better chance of the bulbs surviving than the rooftop deck. I might put some bulbs just in the 1 cedar planters bed that I have because it comes with a plastic greenhouse, so that can stay on the entire time the tulips are growing. If I do that, I will need to get more, so that's to be determined. But I'm crossing all my fingers and all of my toes that these tulips work out really well down here, because when I plant these, I have the image in my head of what they could look like, and so far I have never achieved the images that I've had in my head. So let me know if you are growing any of these tulips potentially, or what fall bulbs you are planting, and then I will see you in the next video. Bye.